As a new freelancer, it can be really, really difficult to get honest advice about your profile because all of those questions and concerns that clients have, they're not going to tell you. Like if something's turning them off and pushing them away, you probably will never have a conversation with that person and you'll never find out why unless you get another perspective. And ideally from someone who actually knows what they're doing and has done it successfully. Hey, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the very first time. All around, welcome. I'm Carrieblogger, a career freelancer on Fiverr.com, where I've been selling as a Fiverr Pro verified copywriter for about the past 9 years. And in today's video, I am showing you clips, a little highlight reel, if you will, of my personal one-on-one strategic freelance assessment consultation with Webster. I posted a similar video a couple weeks ago and got great feedback from you guys. I'm really glad you guys found a lot of value in that. And Webster actually watched that video. That was how he found me and was like, yes, I need to work with her. So I thought it'd be really fitting if we share some highlights from his consultation as well. I obviously have to pitch myself here. If you're interested in your own consultation, getting to work with me one-on-one, you can book with me through the link in the description down below. And then of course, if that's not in your budget or something you're ready to take the next step at right now, obviously there are like 200 plus free videos here on YouTube for you. You can also join my networking group on Discord. Again, link in the description. That community is completely free to join. And I think that we've had a lot of really cool conversations with everyone else kind of helping each other out. And again, you know, it's free. But at some point you might have to consider what value are you putting into your business that you're hoping to then get back out of it. Consultation might be the next step for you. And in the meantime, just learn from Webster, because I think a lot of this can apply to a lot of people. But before we get into that, we have to announce this week's Blogger of the Week. And if you'd like to be the Blogger of the Week, just like Nathan S. Madsen, all you have to do is drop a comment down below and you might get picked. Hello.
Hi, Carrie. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
First of all, it's a honor to meet you. I'm a big fan of your blogs. I watch it every day. It's gotten me through a lot of things, and I'm just wow. Yes.
Thanks. That's very kind. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
cool.
ma'am.
So 2 defining features that you mentioned in your brief with me. You said customer service is the number one. You're great customer service, and you have, you know, your corporate software development, web development position that you're going to start soon.
Yes, ma'am.
So that certification, also a huge piece of credibility. There are 2 kind of issues that I see in how, again, you're telling me that, but I'm not seeing that going forward, because it's all how the customer perceives it, right? So
that's my problem.
Yeah.
That is exactly, after watching your videos, that's exactly why I went to you, and especially that video where you were brutally honest.
Yeah.
That's what sold, because I already knew who you are. I'm a big fan. I need that because that's how I was taught. I need someone to be brutally honest. And then watching your videos, how brutally honest but true you were.
Yeah.
You were immediately hired.
The similar idea in terms of like your certification, and now the fact that you're starting with an actual job, like in the field. If you can quantify that experience anymore, like people want to believe you, but they don't. I mean, anyone can say I'm certified from some random website in web development. I mean, that could be a 2-hour course. And so like the more line by line kind of statistics you can give are better. Like for me, for example, on my like website, I have, you know, like I've worked with 9,000 clients. I have 11,000 reviews or whatever. Like you don't have those statistics, but you might have, I've done 700 hours of coding work, or I know 12 coding languages, or I've worked with 15, or I've increased website traffic by 25% for a client or something. Like, you know, whatever statistic you can come up with, you should, because that'll make it more believable and just like easier to grasp onto for somebody who's looking for someone who's truly qualified. That's the word. Now, your top concerns, you said, were like price and just converting impressions into orders. You're just not getting any traction there. So here's where my brutal honesty is just hitting the wall. Okay.
I need this.
With the price, you are charging a lot. Like you're charging on par with like what top rated pro sellers are charging with like, years and years of experience, tons of reviews, tons of samples. So if you're going to charge that much, there's really two big hurdles you've got to cross. You've got to clarify the process and you have to prove your credibility. So starting with process, again, it's like, how can the prospective client who lands on your page, can they imagine themselves going through this entire process with you? Can they like predict what kind of quality they're going to get, what kind of style, what kind of finished product, but also like what it's going to feel like to work with you. And you'll notice that one kind of way other pro sellers are doing this is by starting with a discovery call or like super streamlined option for lower packages. So this guy I tagged here, Vagludir, his entry level price, which is $100, which looks good in search because you say, oh wow, it only is $100 entry. Cool. It's just a discovery call, right? It's to say, I, as the web development expert, am going to help you see, what you need, how it's going to work. Is this even a viable option? Like just to talk you through the process before we even get going. And again, that's how you can sort of really make them feel confident about going forward with the next thing. So that's them basically using you as like like this, right? They just want to like vet the ideas, see what they need, get an action plan. And then ideally you would say, and yes, I'm the partner to take that action forward. But by having a discovery call, that would be a really good entry price option. And right now you're basically just asking them to jump in with an order of, I'll do the whole thing. And clearly, compared to what other sellers are doing, you're going to need to do a little more of that, like nurturing and educating, like these other sellers are doing first. You do have this, if you scroll down to page 4, you do have that milestone kind of breakdown.
Yes, I do.
But it still is not very clear. It doesn't really tell me a lot. It's mostly just for the finance of like split payments. And I still think that investing your time in making an actual how it works project map is going to be more effective than just relying on that little milestone breakdown. Does that make sense?
Ma'am. It makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Then the next issue is with credibility. So the samples that you have right now don't look like they're worth $500 for a website or $2,500 for an app. Like the samples that you have absolutely do not. Like honestly, this About Me thing, like I had a music ed technology class in college. We had to make a little HTML website. And I'm pretty sure I came up with something about like this. And that was with no experience, right? And so the samples just are killing you. There's no way that anyone's going to pay with the samples that they're there. Same thing with the Audacity chat screenshot. Like the fact that it's just a screenshot looks like you don't care. It looks like you just threw something up there and then expect people to come to you. It almost comes like off as a little bit arrogant, like you haven't put in the time, but you're expecting people to just flock to you.
It's almost like a slap in the consumer's face, actually.
That's kind of how it comes across. Yeah. Hey, future Carrie here. Do me a favor and drop a comment down below to let me know if any of this is resonating with you. Like, does any of this, you think you have the same problem? Does any of this you've seen from other sellers? Does any of this, make you think?
Because I just got a coding bootcamp back in December. I was adding on to my other degree during the furlough. I used to work in retail. Yesterday was my last day after 5 years in the corporate. And in the process, yes, I did a lot of work and I built these projects. I'm like, okay, I did it, but it's just a simple to-do app. It's just a simple calculator. And then when I see it and I review it every day, yes, I get the concept of how to code effectively because I'm constantly, building every day. But if I put that on there, that's going to be more disrespectful because now I look like, yes, I'm a new seller, but it goes back to what you said. And I just had nothing to show.
Sure. It's your job to create a project that mirrors what you want to sell. So like if your dream project is to create a social media app with e-commerce integration, like you need to come up with a fake project for yourself and build it and say, this is equivalent to what I can do for you. And don't rely on like projects you've already done or projects in school that, like you said, are pretty simple and limited just to teach a skill. But you need to come up with, ideally 3 at least, really gorgeous, just all out, everything you ever want to do, examples of what you can actually accomplish. I think it might even just be that most of your coding is happening on the back end. And like I said, I know nothing about web development. Like honestly nothing. Coding scares the crap out of me. I can do anything with like a surface level tool, but anything in the back end, I'm like, no. So I wonder if it's just that your experience is not at all leaning into the design side, which I know that web design and web development are different.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Because most of the, I mean, and again, it's only what I can see, right? So when I take the screenshot of your Covalence site, I didn't get a better screenshot, but like when you're up at the top header and you have the picture up, if you like scroll over a menu item, it goes black, which is the color of the header. So then it disappears. Like little things like that. I'm like, this website isn't thoughtfully designed, even if it might be well developed, because I, as the consumer, can't see the other side of things. Same things with like how our services header is cut off here in this example, the buttons are cut off here. It's like, it seems to me, again, as a consumer who knows nothing, like that should be easier to fix to make it look better. Like, why is there no background at all? Why is like, this looks unfinished? And also with just like customer satisfaction down the road when you do have some clients, because no matter how clean your code is, if it doesn't look good to them on the surface, they're probably going to be disappointed. Like even if it technically functions okay, because those two things really are linked together, even if they're kind of separate skills.
The one thing I struggled because of my particular niche is like it forced you to pick a certain website platform like GoDaddy, Squarespace, Site Builder, Wix. Does this pertain to WordPress, which has been around for ages? It just evolved like yesterday. And to be honest, I never used it because where I was taught, like we just full stack development, build things from scratch. But then at the end of the program, you determine which ultimately you got that feel. Are you a front end developer? Are you a back end developer? Are you a full stack developer? And based on, and I got the same vibe. People think I'm more of a back end, and I can live with that because I'm still trying to get my feet wet and still trying to identify what sort of developer that I am. Yeah, that's essentially what I'm trying to sell. Understanding how it works.
Since you're not super comfortable with the front end side of things, like you said, you just want it to work, you want the technical, like gritty back end stuff, then I would focus more on selling services to people who already have sites established, who need them to be better. I know that there's a big audience for that, at least like from what I see in the content side of things. Like they have a site, but it's like really, really slow because something in the coding is like messed up, or they need to like add shopping integrations, or they have a site, but they want it to be like e-commerce transition, or like they want to install a chat tool, and like that would probably be pretty easy for you. For someone who is super not tech friendly, they think their website's broken, they don't know what to do, right? You're the kind of person who could do that. So selling those kind of microservices to enhance and optimize kind of working with existing businesses, I think would be a much better fit for you than trying to do these all-encompassing huge build outs, which is harder to sell for a new seller like you.
It is.
And it would expect you to do more of that front end design work for them to ultimately be satisfied with a finished product at the end that looks just as good as it works.
Exactly. That you nailed it right on the head. Like for months, I'm trying to word it exactly how you said it, and you nailed it right on the head. I just had this misconception. I thought, I had to just love the front end. But to be honest, I hate the front end.
Then don't do it. You're going to hate the projects you get too. And that's going to be the weak point where, like I said, that's what people like me are going to focus most on. And if that's your weakest skill, then you're just putting yourself up for scrutiny with that not being a skill that you're good at, or like even enjoy wanting to get better at, Again, I would still come up with projects that illustrate what you can do. So even if it's like building a fake simple website on Wix or whatever, and then building in a really cool API so you can link people to that site and say like, here, look at this awesome integration I have, or like however you can make it visible to them being a back-end feature, especially if it's usable. If you can say, here, play around with this chat tool and see how it works on this like mock-up website. And this is something I can do for you. But again, the more translatable you can make the back end stuff and visible, the better.
And then one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
And there's two ways, and I kind of want you to fill the second part of this question, but at the same time answer it. Should I just destroy the gig all completely, go back to the drawing board, continue to build? Because to be honest, I have nothing to promote.
Mhm.
But we got on that.
Yes. And I very rarely say to delete gigs, but in this case, you haven't got any orders.
No.
You don't have anything working. It's not going to be what you're going to do long term because you're going to totally shift your approach. So there's really no use in keeping those gigs. I would just delete them, just wipe everything clean. Your actual seller profile looks pretty good.
And then question, looking at my SEOs.
So right now you're not doing it. So the website one, you have website creation full. So like no one's going to search for full. And I know that what you mean is like your full website creation, but they're showing up as individual tags. And like website is so general. Like you're competing against every other person who has like website. Same thing with creation. That could be music creation, app creation, content creation. So that's not specific enough. Cool. And then the only last thing at the end of this, quick note about the FAQ you have, like that it's a little arrogant sounding, or the slap in the face of like, I only take custom offers of no less than $1,000 seems a little snooty. If you don't project the normal amount of time delivery charges will be incurred, like just the language doesn't sound very like friendly and fun. It's more like stoic. I'm such a good site developer that you deserve to work with me. And instead the client feels like they're kind of the privilege of you get to work with them, whether or not that's true. Like that's how they're going to perceive it. So
wow, you're right.
And same thing with like that. I only prefer to work with clients in the US and Canada is a little bit rude to like other clients elsewhere. That might be true, but at least like explain why. Like you say, because I do a lot of video calls and it's easier if we're in similar time zones. Like that would be a reasonable explanation more than just like it sounds a little like xenophobic or something.
Yes, it does. Ouch. Okay. Is there anything else? Carrie? Anything?
I don't think so. There's a lot here for you to do. And I think as long as you do it, it'll be great.
And when is your next video, by the way?
My next video is on Tuesday. I do Tuesday and Friday every week now.
Good. All right. I'll check it out.
Super.
Thank you, Carrie.
Nice
It's an honor.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
All right. If you're still watching, you're my actual hero. Thank you so much for being here. And again, thank you to Webster for allowing us to share little bits of this conversation. The whole conversation was much closer to an hour, so there's definitely a lot more that just he got out of it. But again, hopefully these tips are helpful for you as well. Please make sure to check out the links in the pinned comment and description down below to a lot of stuff I've got going on, again, including the link to book a consultation with me one-on-one if that's something you're interested in. But until then, you are worth so much more than your workload. Let's get back to work.